So I have set myself the goal of earning £50,000 in 1 year by self-publishing a book series. Can I do it? Can I make £50,000 in 1 year? Let's see. So this is going to be part two of looking at the locations, the real locations of where the Half Dead is set. So just prior to the outbreak, Harriet and Lily set out for college, where Lily is a student and also where Harriet works as well. Now, the estate where they live is called Seafields, and that's an actual housing estate. Here it is. Now, you can see the name on the street sign there if you're quick enough. And it's located in Seaburn, and it's got some beautiful detached and semi-detached houses. And when they're leaving for college, we discover that Harriet and Lily have made a plan to get away from her abusive husband of 19 years. And that's a major part of the plot of book one. Next door to the houses is actually a cemetery, which is mentioned just in passing in the book, but you can see it here just beyond this wall. So as they make their way along the coast, past Seaburn Beach, then Roker Beach, we kind of hint at something, but we're not kind of concrete yet of what's happening with the outbreak. Now they pass Roker Pier. They see a ship that's behaving oddly, but we kind of dismiss it. Then we arrive at Sunderland College, which is situated on the banks of the River Wear. And at the side is a car park which belongs to a neighbouring university. But for the purpose of this story, I turned it into a small gravel car park just for the college. Now, when they get there, that's when the shit really hits the fan. And there's a bunch of people burst out of the main doors. They're chased by a load of Half Dead, and then shit happens. Harriet and Lily take off, and they're driving the wrong way down a one-way street. Just a side note, one of these windows is supposed to be Harriet's office, so she's got this amazing view to look out on like every single day when she's at work. This is obviously before the outbreak. Notice Weymouth Bridge in the distance, and that's where we're going to be heading for the next location. So Harriet and Lily have an accident in their car, and they literally have to abandon the car. So we're jumping ahead a little bit here, a few scenes. But at this point, we're heading south to London, where Harriet's scientist sister Deb has told her there's a secret bunker, and she's got to get there before midnight, before the doors are locked. If she doesn't get there, then she's going to be left outside in this apocalypse. So at this point, she knows the outbreak is like worldwide, and that's like an extinction event. So they're fleeing for their lives. Well, first they have to cross the river to get to the south side. Now the bridge is choked up with crashed and abandoned cars, bodies and blood everywhere. And then there's a train careens across this rail bridge, which is a few yards on the other side of Weymouth Bridge, and then crashes into the station in the city centre. So then they get to the city centre, they've crossed the bridge, and they're making their way along this particular street, which is called Fawcett Street. And they get to this junction, and they see a horde of Half Dead spilling out of the train station, coming towards them. So you abandon the search for the car, and they end up at the film studio, where they become trapped, because in the story, in this area of the industrial units, it's all fenced off with one entrance, and they can't go back because of the horde. Now, I'm not going to spoil how it turns out, but they get into a tricky situation at this point. So that's going to be it for part two. Part three coming up very shortly. I'll show you the rest of the locations. And if you live in Sunderland, give me a shout.